Smart. Okay guys, live po tayo ngayon dito sa Congress mga kababayan. So, ito nga po ay ginaganap dito ngayon yung hearing ng Smni mga kababayan. So, maya-maya lang. May na din ng Smart. Kabayan. Like and share mga kababayan. So ito nga po yung issue ng SMNI, yung nagita nilang expenses na ginastos ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez mga kababayan na 1.8 billion daw mga kababayan. So ito yung pag-uusapan ngayon mga kababayan. So nandito na rin po yung mga host ng SMNI. Ayan po, si Ka Eric mga kababayan.
Pero guys, dito tayo sa House of Representatives sa hearing ng SMNI.
So palike and share mga kababayan yung live natin.
Controversial na hearing dito sa House of Representatives.
Cyprus, dyan po sa North China, dyan po sa Russia, dyan po sa
Kaya pala nagdala ako ng ganito.
Taiwan, sa Singapore, maging dyan po sa New Zealand. Salamat po. Salamat po sa pagpuri.
For the prayer. Put yourselves in presence, Lord. Our Father in heaven. Thank you very much, Honorable Gutierrez. Please take your seats. Good afternoon to our members, invited resource persons, guests, our audience here in the House of Representatives, and those following or proceeding at the Facebook page of the House. Welcome again to our meeting. The committee will resume today the hearing of House Resolutions number 230 and 142 on the question acts of the Sunshine Media Network International SMNI, pending fake news, baseless red tagging of individuals, groups and organizations, and acts subject to various complaints against the media network filed and pending before the NTC, MTRCB, and the Kapisanan ng Broadcasters ng Pilipinas. We also consider the issues raised in the privileged speech of the Honorable David J.J. Suarez on the basis report of SMNI regarding the travel expense of the House Speaker, Ferdinand Martin Romualdez. Yesterday, the plenary acted on House Resolution number 1499 and authorized the Committee on Legislative Franchise to consider it in today's hearing. The members will be provided a copy of House Resolution number 1499. The SMNI is operating under the franchise agreement of Suara Sub Media Corporation pursuant to Republic Act 11422, approved in August 22, 2019, with a term of 25 years. The proponents asserted that SMNI violated the terms and conditions of the franchise and called for the Committee of Legislative Franchises to exercise its oversight function to determine whether the acts of SMNI is in violation of the franchise warrants its revocation. During the initial hearing, the members elicited from the resource persons of NTC, KBP, and MTRCB on the filing and pendency of cases against SMNI. They also agreed that the acts complained of may have violated Section 4 of RA 1422 on the responsibility of the franchise grantee to the public. It provides, among others, the grantee shall not use its stations or facilities for the broadcasting of obscene or indecent language, speak, act, or seen, and for the dissemination of deliberately false information or willful misrepresentation to the detriment of public interest, encourage or assist subversive and treasonable acts. In reviewing the franchise of Suara Sub Media Corporation in relation to the acts of SMNI, complaint of the committee considers the compliance with the terms and conditions thereon. There are provisions in the franchise that are obligatory upon the grantee, and by accepting the franchise, it is bound to faithfully comply with these obligations. Much is expected from media practitioners. Truth and accuracy are the very tenet of broadcasting, whether in delivering news, editorial, and expressing opinion. Considering the testimonies given and documents submitted, the committee shall determine whether the grantee can continue enjoying the privilege under this franchise. Sa ating mga kasamahan sa Kongreso, ang ating mga bisita at mga manonood ng FB page ng House of Representatives, ang pagdinig na ito ay pagtungkol sa prangkisa ng Suara Sub Media Corporation. Papakinggan po natin ang bawat upang bigyan ng linaw ang isyong pinagkakaloob ng Estado sa prelyong Suara Sub Media Corporation. Kaakibat sa prelyong ito ay ang pananagutan na inatang sa ating grantee. It cannot exercise the privilege with impunity and invoke press freedom as pretext for disinformation that may mislead the public. Nais kong bigyan ng diin na ang isyong ito ay hindi tungkol sa kalayaan ng pamamahayag o ang malayang pagpapahayag. Ito ay ang malagang pagsusuri kung narapat ipagpatuloy ng Suara Sub Media Corporation bilang isang grantee. Kami po ay kaisa ng bayan sa pagpapalahad ng katotohanan at sumusunod ito kami sa tamang proseso ng pandinig nito. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Before we proceed, may I direct the committee secretary to acknowledge the members in attendance and resource persons with us today. Comsec.
Today's meeting, we have the following members. We have the Vice Chairperson, Representative Jenny Pimentel, Representative Marian Luistro, Representative Senator Luz Imo, Representative Roman Case Barbers, Representative Joseph Stephen Peruano, Representative David J.J. Suarez, Representative Ramon Gutierrez, Representative Alan T, Representative Lynn Pancho. We also have Representative Alfred de los Santos, Representative Francisco Jose Matugas, Representative Toby Chanco, Representative Alfred, Representative Faustino Inodi, Representative Ricardo Cruz Jr., Representative Dan Fernandez, Representative Christian Lavia, Representative Romeo Acop, and Representative Antonio Ferrer.
For the resource persons.
For our resource person from KBP, we have Attorney Rudolph Steve Ularbal. From the MTRCB, we have Attorney Cesar Pareja. From the MTRCB, we have Attorney Abubakar Johari and Mr. Bobby Diciembre from MTRCB as well. We have from NTC, the Deputy Commissioner Alvin Blanco. From SPC, we have the General Counsel, Attorney Romuald Padilla and Attorney Gerard Del Rosario. And with them we have Attorney Melizar Martin Turnell. From the SMNI, we have Attorney Mark Tolentino,
Nandito rin po si
Attorney Olex Suplico,
Congressman na yan.
Ms. Lorraine Baloy,
Hindi po lalaki si sir.
Toby Chanco.
Hindi po si sir. Hindi ito yung nakagano.
also
Nakadikwatro.
Honorable
Ito si sir.
Collada, a member of the committee.
Ang galing yun. Ang galing yun.
We also have from NTC, Attorney Andy Castilla. And also, we invited again Attorney Rico Domingo from the Thank you.
Thank you very much, Committee Secretary. Now proceed to the consideration. First, that I will recognize the Honorable David B.J. Silence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Mr. Chair, I just want to start off from where we ended last hearing with regards to the use that Jeffrey said is mentioned in their program. Mr. Sedes, are you with us today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. When we ended our hearing last week, the statements I released was that we were treading in very dangerous grounds as the source, the resource person mentioned that his source emanated from the Senate. And I felt that it was important for us to determine who that source was, because it was also determined in the last hearing that the statements issued by Mr. Seles in his program was false. And if indeed it is from the Senate, interparliamentary relations between the House and the Senate are now put in question. Because parang lumalabas, may nililig ng hindi makatotohanan ng balita mula sa Senado patungkol sa House of Representatives. At noong December 3, if I may be allowed, Mr. Chair, Senate President Subiri issued a statement.
Nag-live
And
kasi
if I
ako
may
sa,
be allowed to read,
sa internet nila
he
dito.
stated, I have no knowledge whatsoever of anyone from the Senate leaking information to any reporter on any House matter. Until the concerned resource speaker names a Senate employee, there is no reason to believe that these allegations are anything more than intrigues being sown to create controversy and fake news. We respect interparliamentary courtesy and would not want to put a rift in the strong partnership that we have with the House, with the leadership and the members of the House. I would suggest that the House continue their investigation until they get to the bottom of this accusation and press for the concerned person to reveal the name of their alleged source in the Senate. Otherwise, the House can cite them in contempt. If they can prove it, it's an employee of the Senate, then we will initiate disciplinary action on those involved. Quote unquote from Senate President Miguel Zubiri. So now, Mr. Celis, I would just like to reiterate my question. The source, please.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of this committee, may I be allowed, please, to manifest a statement of clarification before I proceed to answer the question of Honorable Congressman J.G. Suarez, because I believe that the statement that I am going to make as an opening premise to the answer that I should be giving to the Honorable Congressman will settle everything and clarify before the nation a very important statement that I want to make. Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed, please?
Before I allow you, I'd like to remind everyone that your oath has been administered in the last session, and this will continue up to today. So, you're under oath.
Yeah.
So, lahat po sabihin po natin ay ang katotohanan. Okay.
Can I proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, the Honorable Ako.
meron pong katanungan si Honorable Suarez, di po ba?
Opo.
Hindi man dapat sagutin lang resource person or witness yung katanungan muna.
Okay.
Tapos siya mag-explain. Okay.
First person.
Thank you for the reminder, Congressman Akop, sir. And to the members of this committee, I feel, and it is my right to state before this committee and the August Chamber of Congress, that this committee is not above the law. No one in government is above the law. We are a government of laws. I am protected under the social law. I have the constitutional right. I requested per record that I may be given competent advice and assistance of a legal counsel, and such right is guaranteed by the Constitution. And such right is also stipulated clearly in Section 12 of the governing House rules pertaining to committee hearing and conduct of investigation. And even if I am not in a court trial, the right to seek out counsel advice and assistance from the counsel is a part of principle of due process, a principle guaranteed by the Constitution. And I believe before I answer any further question, may I manifest respectfully and humbly before this committee that all the statements, even after under oath, in the absence of competent legal advice and assistance previously, may be granted to be stricken off the record, because I believe my constitutional rights were violated.
Point of order. The answer manifestation of Mr. Sellers is out of order. This is out of order because you cannot dictate in this house and you cannot move. Only members of you ask members of this house.
Yes, I am explaining,
No.
sir. I am not moving.
No, your manifestation is out of order.
I am
Do
requesting.
not lecture us
No, I am
about
not
the rules
lecturing.
of this.
I am
committee and
standing
house.
up for my right. I am standing up for my right.
Remember, we might cite you in contempt.
Then so be it. Your Honor.
You challenge us?
Yes.
Okay.
If that will be sin in the nation, na walang karapatan ang mga invited guests dito na magpahayag, Your Honor, with due respect to you, I do not believe na ang kongresong ito ay lalabag sa karapatan
Mr. Chair,
ng mga
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
So be it, Your Honor.
Out of order. And what's the position of the chair?
I will need, Mr. Chairman, I will not give up my right
Mr.
to
Chair.
free speech and be respected under the Constitution, because this August Chamber is obligated by law.
Dali lang po.
Mr. Chairman,
Eric.
may I explain why
Yes,
I-
the Honorable Akok is recognized, and I understand yung sinasabi po ng ating mga ng ating bisita. Pero alam po ninyo, kung ang ginagamit niyo po ay yung hearing nung huli at wala kang representasyon, hindi po namin kasalanan. Kasalanan po ng mga abogado ng SMNI dahil sila mismo on record ang nagsabi na they are here to represent SMNI and not the anchors because dumistansya nga po sila. Ang sabi nila, hindi po namin trabaho ang bigyan ng representasyon ang angkor. That's why nung humingi po kayo, ang pinaliwanag ko, hindi po pwede sila magdepensa sa inyo. Dapat po humingi kayo ng iba. Dahil hindi po pwede sila ang magdepensa because they are on record. Under oath, ang sabi nila, kami abogado ng SMNI at hindi kami abogado ng mga angkor. Klaro po yan, Kyrie.
Your Honor, if I may please.
You're not allowed. Angkor, yes.
I just like to explain why I cite him out of order. Because he manifested that the previous records, it is taken out of records, and as resource person, they are not allowed.
Your Honor, I am
Please,
going to
I have
be in this
still
chamber and I am submitting myself before the country in protest. My constitutional rights are violated in this committee. I'm sorry to say, let me be detained in this chamber and decided in contempt.
Mr. Chairman.
I will not participate if my constitutional right will not be guaranteed. You
No,
are not here
Mr. Chairman,
to decide for my
please,
constitutional
please,
right.
let me finish.
There's a point of order, the Honorable.
Let me finish. What I'm saying, I am not telling you to stop. What I'm saying is, my out of order. Kaya sandali, makinig ka. My out of order is all about your manifestation to straighten out. Patapusin mo ako.
Yes, sir.
Huwag ka may bastos.
Hindi ako bastos,
Patapusin
nagpapaliwanag
mo
pa
ako.
ako.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to correct. I am not stopping him to issue statement. What I'm saying is, and what I'm pointing out of order is the manifestation that the previous statement, the previous record, should be taken out of order. And under the rules, he is not allowed to do it.
Point of order. Yes. This committee, why the member is given the right to speak. Maraming salamat po, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you, Honorable Fernando. Honorable ako is recognized.
Mr. Celis, please be reminded that in this committee and this house, we have rules to follow. Hindi po ba namin sinusunod yung mga rules? Matanong ko nga po.
Yes, sir. I feel that
And
is my...
I would like to remind you that these rules are supposed to be followed by members of this committee and by the witnesses or resource persons to be present. And one of these rules is that before you can speak, you ask permission from the chairman. Kami nga, hindi kami nagsasalita na walang permission yung chairman. You better follow that rule. Otherwise, baka mapilitan akong gawin yung hindi ko dapat gawin. Thank you.
The Honorable.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Wait, I think the Honorable is Barber.
I was raising a point of order earlier, but
I'm sorry I didn't hear you that.
it's okay,
My
Mr.
apologies.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, kasi gusto ko lang i-refresh yung memory ng ating resource person na no one is curtailing your right. In fact, kaya ka nga nandito, binibigyan ka ng panahon, ng oras para magsalita, di ba? So, never, ever insult the committee, much more any of the members of this committee. Kasi medyo yun ang affront. Yun ang affront sa amin. And do not challenge us to do what we feel is right to do to you because you might not like it. I'm just going to remind him of that, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
The Honorable Ace Barbers. Any other member that would like to speak?
I believe that this is an aid of an inquiry in aid of legislation, and resource persons should be reminded that they should observe proper decorum. I just like to remind all the resource persons that under Section 11, this inquiry, or for that matter, Congress has the power to contempt. The committee may punish any person for contempt by a vote of 2/3 of the members present, there being a quorum. And there are 6 grounds for contempt. one of which is letter A, acting in a disrespectful manner towards any member of the committee or any misbehavior in the presence of the committee. So, Mr. Chair, we do not want to cite a resource person for contempt. Kaya nakikiusap kami sa iyo, Ka-Eric, na kung pwede, please respect this committee and observe proper decorum. Nasa rules po natin na you cannot speak if you are not recognized by the chair. Actually, naka-strike 1 na po kayo, Ka-Eric. Kanina, you were not recognized by the chair but you kept on talking. So again, may I advise Ka-Eric, we are not suppressing your rights, but also respect this committee and observe proper decorum.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, if I may continue.
There was a question raised by the Honorable Suarez. Alam po ninyo, Kyrie, kung meron po kayong karapatan, may karapatan din po ang committee. Lahat po tayo may karapatan dito. So, ang tanong ko, yes or no? May tanong ko si Congressman J.J. Suarez, huwag na po natin pahabain. Yes or no?
I will refuse to answer, Your Honors, not because I disrespect this committee, but I will invoke my right guaranteed by the Constitution because I believe this committee cannot be above the law, especially the Constitution.
Can I just
The Honorable
raise-
J.J. Suarez.
Yes. What right is that you are invoking, Mr. Sally?
The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees me for the guarantee of due process and even the SOTO law and even the House rules. Constitutionally guaranteed rights, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, cannot be violated by any branch of the government.
Kyrie, may katanungan.
Mr.
Chair, alam po ninyo, Kyrie, meron ba kayong kasamang abogado na yun?
May I answer po? That's why I am requesting since last hearing that I may be given the counsel. Now, I will hire.
Alam mo yun, if you keep going back, last year, ang tanong ko na yun.
I will hire Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico as my personal choice
Okay.
to do
So,
legal counsel.
everything that you say now is guided by your lawyer, who's
Not yet.
also here.
Not yet, sir, because they are not, Mr. Chairman, permitted and granted authority to be recognized as my legal counsel. That's why
So
I'm
I am asking
requesting.
you, who is your lawyer in this case?
I'm hiring today, this afternoon, Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico.
Are the lawyers accepting that mandate? Because remember, in the last hearing, you manifested that you are not representing Ka-Eric and Albers because of the disclaimer issue. Are you accepting?
I'm accepting, Your Honor.
Attorney Rolex Soplico.
I am accepting your
Okay, so thank you very much. So everything that will be said, or the book. Now, Ka-Eric, may abogado na po kayo. Yes or no?
May I request again, Congressman Honorable J.G. Suarez to rephrase the question, please.
Very vocal and you're very opinionated about your position. And last hearing, I just want to remind you, you apologized to the committee because the statements that you issued in your show, kasama ang bayan, tama po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Kasama ang bayan. Humingi ka ng paumanhin dahil yung sinabi mong 1.8 billion ay walang katotohanan. Sinabi niyo yun. Ngayon, sinabi mo, ang source mo ay galing sa Kongreso. Sinabi ko mula sa House of Representatives, ang sabi niyo po ay hindi po House. Dalawa po yung House, Congress at Senate. Sinabi niyo, kinonfirm niyo na lalaki na taga-Senado. Ngayon po, naglabas na po ng statement, mismong Senate President na, ang nagsasabi, hindi na ito nanggagaling sa amin, although I am pressing hard that I want you to reveal that source because we want to find out, Mr. Celis, the truth, and nothing is more important than the truth. So, I'm asking you nicely, who is your source?
May I qualify, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to speak?
Yes, but before that, I'd like to remind you and the lawyers that under Section 13, the participation of counsel in this hearing for the witness during the hearing and while the witness is testifying shall be limited to advising the legal rights of the witness. Is that clear? Attorney Tolentino and Attorney Supi. Yes, Your Honor. That will only limited to that. Wala ko tayong coaching dito. Yes. And Kyrie.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the recognition. Congressman Suarez, sir.
Please answer straight directly, ha? Wala ko tayong paligoy-ligoy na sagot ko dito.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. No.
Go ahead.
No. I just want to be enlightened. What is the decision of? What is your decision regarding the prior motion made by Congressman Eduardo?
Well, the motion was a point of order.
No.
He will only be the point of order. So if he was declaring him out of order. Thank you. Yes, proceed. Yes or no?
Yeah, thank you po, Mr. Chairman.
Please answer directly, ha? Huwag tayo
I will not answer it because I am protected by law as per advice in conference with my lawyers here. I am protected by the SOTO law. Unless the SOTO law is repealed, I will be under the protection of the SOTO law. Republic Act number 50. And the previous statements made, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, please, were made without the competent advice of legal counsel. That's why I was requesting humbly for this honorable committee chaired by Congressman Tambunting that all those testimonies regarding the testimonies I made here can be stricken off the record if it may be considered as a request.
Okay.
Because those are inadmissible.
Ano pong, tanong po ko, kala nyo, lagi nyo sinasabi SOTO law. Ano pong portion ng SOTO law ang tinutukoy mo? Anong particular provision sa SOTO law? Pakibasa po.
I will, Mr. Chairman, I will request my counsel to give me the particular provision or they may be allowed to reference the particular
No, we
provision.
are requesting you.
I don't have the copy of the SOTO.
Then I will suggest that the council give him a copy of the SOTO law. Because we do not, they're only supposed to, like I said earlier, hindi ko kayo pwede magsalta. Yan magsalta, si Kyrie.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to read the pertinent provision from the SOTO? Without prejudice, this is section 1 of 11458 as amended. Without prejudice to his inability or ability under the civil and criminal laws, any publisher, owner, or duly recognized or accredited journalist, whether reporter, writer, contributor, opinion writer, editor, columnist, manager of media, or other media practitioner involved in the writing, editing, production, and dissemination of news or mass circulation of any print, broadcast, wire service organization, or electronic mass media, including cable TV, television, and its variants, cannot be compelled to reveal the source of any news item, report, or information appearing or being reported or disseminated through other or the said media which was related in confidence. Mr. Chairman, can I explain the
No. We have to answer first the position raised by the witness. Ang unang provision sinabi nyo, accredited journalist. Uy, accredited journalist. Akala kayo po ang tinatanong po. Kayo po ba ay accredited journalist?
The accreditation or the license to practice journalism does not require any particular organization or government entity to give us license or accreditation for broadcast. If you are referring, Mr. Chairman, to KBP, membership to KBP is voluntary. KBP is not an absolute regulatory power for broadcast.
So,
they are like an NGO and private organization.
Ano pong basihan nyo, basihan ng provision niya, nung sinabi niya kailangan accredited, is kayo nag-recite ng batas. Kayo nag-recite ng prohibition.
Mr. Chairman,
Accredited journalist, hindi ko kayo, sino ang dapat mag-accredit sa inyo?
SMNI is an accredited and franchise-granted media. And therefore, the prerogative in the decision for editorial decision who can broadcast or cannot broadcast in their station rests with the franchise granted to them. Therefore, hindi po kami required na maghingi ng pahintulot sa gobyerno na mag-broadcast kami doon. Dahil kami po ay bahagi ng isang media organization na may legitimate existence as granted by franchise.
Yes, but remember, may disclaimer din na, kung yan ang gagawin na agreement ko, may disclaimer po last hearing yan. Ang sabi ng SMNI, hindi ko namin agad-agad kahit tanggapin yung inyong mungkahi. Pangalawa, I would like to remind you that this is a house inquiry which is provided for by the Sotolo. And third, katanungan ko, security of state, binanggit nyo. Ano po ibig, ito ba yung security of state? Tingin nyo itong issue to, which is a reception?
Ang 1.8 billion na pagtatanong ko po, Your Honors, Mr. Chairman, ay hindi po threat to national security. Kapag ito po ay tinatanong ng mga media practitioners at ng mamamayan patungkol sa tamang pangangalaga sa pondo ng bayan. And I believe Congress is exempted from public transparency and accountability in the disposal of public funds.
Alam po niyo,
That is not an issue of public national security.
Yes. Huli ang katanungan. Alam po niyo yung security of state sa amin. Ito po yung sinabi niyo na empleyado ng Senado ang nagbigay sa amin. Yan po ay seguridad ng ating institusyon, seguridad ng ating bayan. So kaya po, ito po ay hindi nyo po pwede i-sign ang Sotolo. Mabuti po, malaman nyo na po ang posisyon. At ito yung pinag-aralan po natin, may abogado po kayo, hindi po kami mga abogado dito, may mga researchers po kami. At ang Sotolo ay hindi po applicable dito sa site. Sa tatlong diyanong po, pare-pareho hindi po pwede yan. The Honorable D.G. Suarez, your evidence.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So let's just go back to points that have already been established. Number one, the statement that you issued were false. You admitted it and you apologized for it last hearing. Number two, you mentioned that your source is from Senate. And Caselis, Mr. Celis, the law that you have just stated that you sought to use to protect your right and not to reveal your source apparently has been ruled cannot be applied. So therefore, I'm asking you again, dahil may kinalaman na may mabigat po ang kinalaman, ang repercussions dito. You're talking about interparliamentary relationships between the House of Representatives and between the Senate. And none other than the Senate President has already issued a statement about this. So I don't think you see the gravity of the statements that you have issued between both houses in Congress. Now, Mr. Celis, for the last time, please identify your source.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to answer?
Mr. Chair, this is the fourth time I asked Mr. Celis this question. And every time I asked him this question, ang laki ng introduction, wala pa rin yung sagot. Pwede po ba this time, pag pinagbigyan natin siya magsalita, sabihin niya na po yung pangalan?
Kasi kung maging introduction na kayo, tapos yung site na naman, dinisalaw ko na. Sinasabi ko na hindi yung namin kayang tanggapin yung
Lagi na kami dito
for this particular issue. And we provided the basis for that too.
Narinig naman.
Sa mga binigkas yung provision, doon mismo inugot ko yung argumento namin. Ngayon, kung hindi mo yung sasagot,
Dapat may ganun muna sila.
kasi nag-request sa CTV, si
Sarap
Congressman Suarez,
ano?
kasagutan pangalan ang kailangan niyo.
Sira ang ano.
Mr. Chairman,
Magbibigay po kayo mo ng pangalan o hindi?
may I request that I be allowed to confirm with my legal counsel, please?
Oh, they're right beside you. They can confirm.
May I request for at least a
Yes.
1-minute conference with them?
Please.
Pag-usapan na guys.
Pag-uusapan yung ano.
Ako po, may 1 minute. So, pala, hindi naman sa accreditation. Paano siya din makakabilang sa soap?
$2,000 views eh. 2,000 views eh.
No. 2.1.
Grabe. Sarap.
2.1. Wow! 1.8 ako.
Mr. Chairman,
Sarap.
Wala nang makapasok dito, tayo lang.
in our constitutional democracy, only the courts can interpret the laws, not Congress. So I will not answer that question because I believe Congress does not have the right to interpret laws.
Okay.
It is with Congress to pass laws, but not to interpret laws. I take back my statements.
Mr. Chair,
Okay, this is the honorable Toby Campos.
Mr. Chair, in the sense of fairness, since we really want to know the source, para malaman natin kung ano talaga yung pinagkakalat nito, would we allow Mr. Celis, Eric, to reveal the source in executive session? Would the chair allow?
Yes, Eric. It's an executive session, an option for you. It's an executive session, an option for you. There's a suggestion by the Honorable Toby Campos na botas na kung ayaw po sabihin sa harap ng camera at sa publiko, okay na ba, executive session? We will call for executive session now. Para lahat po ng options ay binigay na po namin sa inyo. Eric.
That will be very dangerous for other media practitioners present here because it will create a very dangerous and negative precedence on the protection of source provided by law. I will refuse it.
Salamat po.
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable Toby Campos still recognized for a follow-up question.
No, I just wanted to manifest that the reason that we're suggesting an executive session is to show na tayo naman, hindi naman tayo, na binibigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon na i-reveal. Kung talagang gusto niya pangalagaan, at least an executive session. But it seems ayaw niya pa rin po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, it is very clear that Mr. Celis does not want to answer the question to reveal the source, whether in this inquiry or in executive session. So therefore, Mr. Chair, under Section 11, the power to contempt, letter E, grounds for contempt is for a resource person refusal to answer any relevant inquiry. Actually, Mr. Chair, Mr. Celis has already violated 2 provisions of Section 11. The first one, acting in a disrespectful manner, and the second one, which is very more important rather, is his refusal to answer the question in a relevant inquiry. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to contempt, to cite for contempt Mr. Celis for on these 2 grounds under Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second motion.
There's a motion, duly seconded. Any objections from any member, Mr. Chairman, of this committee? There being no objections, on a unanimous vote, the Eric is cited for Mr. Chairman, may I recognize the Sergeant of Arms to please take on.
Mr. Chairman, can we request the Sergeant at Arms to practice his responsibility after the hearing? Because there's still other
Tapos na agad to ba? Meron pang sunod.
May resource person pa. Kinontempt lang si Ka Eric.
Okay.
Na-contempt si Ka Eric, mga kastroy.
The motion was for Mr. Celis to be cited in contempt. And I think there's supposed to be a second motion. Yes. No, the motion should be for him to be detained. Where? Because under our law, the contempt of the committee shall be deemed contempt of the House. The person cited in this section may, upon order of the committee, be detained in such place as the chairperson or acting chairperson may designate. In other words, we have to decide where to detain him and for how long, Mr. Chair. That's supposed to be the second motion.
Mr. Chair, I believe with regards to the duration, it will be up to this committee to decide, and of course, to Mr. Celis, kung kailan po niya sasagutin yung tanong natin, and then maybe we could lift the contempt. But as long as hindi pa niya sinasagot yung tanong natin, the contempt will remain.
Mr. Chairman, final statement before niyo po ako'y kulong.
Mr. Chair, I move for
Can I have a final statement, please? Before po ako magpapakulong, I request the committee.
Pakulo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In an earlier motion, Mr. Chair, we have already approved to cite for contempt Mr. Celis. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to detain him in the premises of Congress as per our rules on Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
The motion, we seconded, the chair objections, the motion of the Honorable Pilipinas is, okay?
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee may be given 1 minute, please. Oh, because that is required two-thirds from the vote.
The Honorable Patuano is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, ang ano lang, point of inquiry lang, kasi we are not allowed to have a detention for indefinite period of time. So we have to establish how long. And the lifting of such detention will depend on the members of this committee. Of course, with the cooperation of the person in contempt. So we have to establish how long, because we are not allowed to detain indefinitely based on so many jurisprudence, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Akong Secretary.
Yes, there's a decision by the Supreme Court that we cannot detain a person indefinitely. And therefore, may I move that we come up with a definite period for detention insofar as Mr. Celis is concerned. For violation of paragraph C of section 11 of the rules.
3, 4. 2, 4. Lakas. Merienda ka mamaya.
Dami tayo dun.
May I move that Mr. Celis be detained for being cited in contempt for violation of section 11, paragraph C, refusal to answer any relevant inquiry by the members of this committee for a period of 30 days.
Mr. Chairman.
He will go on break on December 30 unless he finds a motion for reconsideration. We have done this in the different committees already.
Mr. Chair,
There's a motion.
the reason why we cited Mr. Celis for contempt is because he does not want to answer the question. That is precisely why he violated paragraph C. So why would we give him a timeline? Eh kung kahit hindi pala siya sumagot, papalabasin natin si Mr. Celis. The reason why we cited him for contempt, eh gusto nga natin nasagutin niya yung relevant inquiry natin, nasagutin niya kung sino yung source niya. So I believe that we should not give a timeline, Mr. Chair.
After finding the jurisprudence, Mr. Chair, I submit to the wisdom of this committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, session suspended.
Salamat po. Grabe po.
Like mga kababayan, ang init ng labanan dito ngayon. Ang init ng issue.
So, ano, session
Kaya,
suspended muna.
Like nyo na mga kababayan. Like
Babalik
and
tayo in a
subscribe.
few minutes. So, dito
But the truth
Ano,
is,
30 days.
lahat na hindi po siya accredited po.
Naku, kay Eric nagsalita din sa mga media. Oh. Please like. So, in a
Ilang
few
minutes
minutes,
yan?
magbabalik ang
Depende
session.
kung kailan nire-release ito.
Wala nang naman.
Okay guys, magbabalik tayo sa mga ilang minuto. Patalastas muna tayo. Ano bro?
Alam na nila.
Oo.
Malamang may sunod pa na. Hindi ito matatapos ngayon.
Baka nga. Baka guys, hindi pa ito matapos ngayon. Baka may next hearing pa itong magaganap.
Hindi masagot ang tanong na sino ang source na senador ba?
Pa-like and share mga kababayan, pa-like and share. Subscribe na din mga kababayan sa mga bagong pasok dyan. Pa-like and share po yung ating kaganapan ngayon dito nga po sa House of Representative mga kababayan. Hearing po dito ngayon about sa issue ng Smni. So ito na nga po mga kababayan dinalakay at nandito po ngayon si Ka Eric mga kababayan. Abangan natin ulit mamaya. Pa-like and share mga kababayan.
Guys, please like. Para dumami pa tayo.
Paabutin nyo ng 5,000 mga kababayan.
1,000. Para sakto. Maraming issue na to guys.
Wala pa siya.
Wait lang guys, kunin ko lang yung grabe, panis.
Good lang.
Tugon lang malakas.
Malakas. Ma'am, ano malaki? Anong 2.8?
Sige mo lang daw. Bukas daw. Dito na lang natulog mo.
So, dito na tayo matulog. Bukas daw is Philippines.
Dito na tayo tumira.
Pagkatapos, reaction video na naman. Tatlo tayo, no? Sa isang video. Parang hindi masasabi natin.
Grabing init ng issue dito guys. Wag kayong kukurap mga kababayan. Marami pang kaganapan ang mangyayari. Si Art na nanahimik lang. Pero 400,000 ang nanonood sa kanya. Saan si Art? Guys, pa-like and subscribe mga kababayan. Ayan na guys, ayan na mga kababayan. So kaya pa-like and share na ito mga kababayan. Ito na.
Mr. Chair, before I acknowledge the Honorable Pimitel, the due process was given to the witness and he was allowed to speak. Even he cited his grounds.
Hey ma'am, thank you ma'am.
As a matter of fact,
Salamat.
we gave him so much airtime that he manifested his refusal to the question of the Honorable Suarez 4 times.
Sana all.
And so, that being said, the chair would like to call the Honorable Pimitel to manifest his demotion on the time frame.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a previous motion. Therefore, Mr. Chair, I move to detain Mr. Celis for he was cited in contempt until the adoption of the committee report at the plenary session, Mr. Chair. So move.
Okay, so that is also an amendment to the motion of the Honorable Akop early on. There's a motion amending the motion of the Honorable Akop. Any second? Seconded? The chair hearing no objection. The chair adopts and approves the motion of the Honorable Johnny Pimentel. So the Sergeant of Arms is hereby directed to enforce the decision of this committee.
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Session suspended. Attorney Tolentino.
Thank you for this Kanga report.
Hello.
Session suspended.
Thank you for this Kanga report. Thank you for this Kanga report. Mr. Chair, can I make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Kaya ingat tayo sa mga binibitaw nating salita.
Oo.
So, under the rules, Mr. Chair, there's a requirement that 2/3 of the members present, there be a quorum. So there must be a quorum.
Yun ang kinuha sa Sergeant of Arms.
Those present, Mr. Chair.
So, detain na siya, guys.
This is anyway.
Wala na si Kyrie.
And second, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Tolentino, there is a quorum. It is a unanimous vote. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, I don't think the legal counsel SFNI has no right to question the quorum. It's only the members who can question the quorum. You have no right, you're only a resource person.
Okay, so
You
anyway.
better keep quiet or we will cite you in contempt also.
Let me ask Attorney Suplico to brief Attorney Tolentino of the House rules. You're very much aware and well versed with the rules of this House.
Because Attorney Suplico used to be implemented some of the rules that we are now implementing. As a matter of fact, in one of the invitations that he was the resource person, sabi ko nga, nung bata ako, narinig ko ng pangalan na Rolex Suplico. Elementary pa lang ako. Ganyan mo kasi ka dyan. Kaya lahat ang ginagawa namin, si Atty. Suplico rin ho, alam mo niya lahat yan. Okay, maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair, I think I still do have the
The
floor.
floor is still with the Honorable J.J. Suarez.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, can the Chair please reiterate the due process that the committee followed in relation to the contempt order that was issued against Mr. Celis? Isa-isa lang natin para klaro.
Well, there was he was allowed to speak. 4 times you asked the question. The Honorable Suarez asked the question. 4 times he refused to reply. And the Honorable Chanco even afforded him a executive session. And again, he refused. So obviously, he will refuse to answer any question that Honorable Suarez will ask, and he would always cite a law which is unacceptable to this committee because it does not, it is not the intent of the law
Okay.
he cannot hide under that law.
Thank you
That's
very
what the
much.
committee said.
Yeah, the reason why I asked Mr. Chair is because, going back to our last
And
hearing.
lastly, he was given a counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Last hearing kasi, inamin niya na mali yung source niya at humingi na siya ng paumanhin. So para gamitin pa yung SOTO law, it's not anymore applicable to him because sinabi niya ng mali. Ang hinihingi na lang natin kung sino. Kung sino dahil may kinalaman po ito sa relasyon ng mababang kapulungan at ng Senado. At pati po Senado, I won't be surprised kung kayo po ay magpupumilit na hindi magsasabi ng totoo, I won't be surprised if the Senate might conduct their own inquiry into this matter as well. Because you have already involved the Senate into these misinformation and fake news. So, Attorney Tolentino, as counsel to Mr. Celis, are you willing to cooperate with the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Earlier, I was a little bit offended. Your client stood up and uttered some words. Are you supportive with that, with your clients?
I'd like to
Do you share? Do you share the same sentiment as your client, Attorney Tolentino?
What statement, Mr. Chair?
When he called the court Kangaroo Court, when he called this committee Kangaroo,
Maybe that's his opinion, Mr. Chair.
and you do not share it,
No, Mr. Chair.
do you think it is right?
I cannot answer that, Mr. Chair, because I believe still there is attorney-client privilege. I cannot talk if not authorized by a client, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So anyway, Mr. Tolentino, as counsel to Mr. Celis, would you be kind enough to share with us any information regarding the source of that misinformation, fake news that SMNI broadcasted in your television show?
I have no personal knowledge that, Mr. Chair.
Dr. Badoy, do you have any knowledge on who the source is?
Mr. Chair, no knowledge at all.
Do you know Mr. Celis' phone number?
Yeah, I have this number.
Would you be kind enough to share it with this committee?
Mr. Chair, could I ask my lawyers if I could do that?
Yes, I mean,
Mr. Chair, it's in the guest list outside.
again?
Can you just tell us the number, please? As requested by the Honorable Suarez. Yes.
Mr. Chair, it's 09.
So please, can you please approach the Honorable Suarez?
Para hindi na lang ano. Para may bagong
Alanganin yan, dapat hindi naka-broadcast.
Ano yun, ulan?
Siguro. For aircon. Ulan siguro ang number ni House Majority Leader J.J. Suarez.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the reason why I asked for those phone numbers is, other than citing the source of Mr. Celis emanating from the Senate, he mentioned that he also received a text message supporting that claim on Monday. And if I'm not mistaken, the date would have been November 27, but I'll have to check my records. Mr. Chair, can I move to subpoena the text messages of that phone number? Just to know whether or not meron po ba talagang pumasok na text na nagsasabi na ganito kalaking kahalaga ang ginastos ng House of Representatives. Kasi kung lalabas sa phone records na walang text at ayaw sabihin ni Mr. Celis yung pangalan, maaaring gawa-gawa lang itong mga pinag-uusapan natin dito at walang basehan. So, Mr. Chair, I move that we subpoena the messages from these two phone numbers on the specific date when those broadcasts was aired on SMNI. So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion by the Honorable David J.J. Suarez, seconded by the Honorable Vice Chair Johnny Pimentel. Any objections? The chair, no objections. The motion is approved. We'll now proceed.
Yes, just for the information of the body, Mr. Chair, it is on 11/27, November 27, 2023, and the show was aired, I think, at 10 in the afternoon, 10 in the evening, correct? Morning, 10 in the morning. So, with that being said, Attorney Tolentino, can I just ask, nasa na po yung,
Mr. Chair.
yes, yung presidente ng SMNI?
Mr. Chair, actually he wants to come here, Mr. Chair, but he has a sick right now, Mr. Chair. I have with me a medical certificate, Mr. Chair.
So, but you will be speaking on his behalf?
Yes, Mr. Chair, but of course I have a limited authority, Mr. Chair.
So, okay, anyway, Mr. Chair, if I may proceed, just a few questions, and I'll give it to the other congressmen for more questions.
Thank you. May I ask?
Can I just one question?
Yes, before that, when you said you have limited authority,
Based on my personal knowledge, Mr. Chair, I cannot talk anything that I do not know, Mr. Chair.
how about the attorney Rolex? So if he knows half, he should know the other half.
The same, Your Honor, we are all the legal officers of the SMNI. Mr. Rossetti is the president of the SMNI. If there are information that we do not know.
Okay, so if we don't, okay, let us make this clear. If we're not satisfied with your answers, then we will call for another hearing in a couple of days just for this issue. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Suarez.
Can we be kind enough to be given a copy of that medical certificate that you're talking about?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Now,
Absent ang presidente ng SMNI. So, maglunggo. Kaya yung medical certificate yung nahanap.
Nahanap ang medical certificate. Tahimik na.
Mr. Chair, the medical certificate is with, who is now with Eric, Mr. Chair. With the Secretary of SMNI, who is now with Eric.
Why is the secretary with Eric when he wasn't? He or she was inside the report with Eric.
She's on the way. Maybe more than 2 or 3 years, Mr. Chair.
So in any major decision that the network takes, I'm sure they seek your advice?
Just an advice, Mr. Chair.
Okay, fantastic. I just came across some posts of SMNI partnering with the Chinese government network. Is this correct?
I have no personal knowledge of that, Mr. Chair.
But you're the lawyer of SMNI.
I only know something that is relevant to the investigation, Mr. Chair. I didn't know about that, Mr. Chair.
No, but it's all over the SMNI Facebook, SMNI Twitter, and news report that you have partnered with the Chinese government national TV.
I'm trying my best, Mr. Chair, to answer only answers that I know personally, Mr. Chair.
And you have no knowledge of that.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So how do you serve as counsel when something such as big between two networks cooperating and you have no knowledge of it whatsoever? I don't understand how that relationship works. Kasi
because I'm not the only lawyer.
Usapin na may kinalaman sa dalawang korporasyon at ikaw ang abogado, hihingi ka ng legal advice, legal opinion, due diligence, bago pumasok sa naman kasunduan. Inamin mo kanina na ikaw ang legal counsel for the past 3 years.
But I am not the only legal
Dito
counsel, Mr.
lumabas
Chair.
dito, kayo lang mismo ang naglabas ha, hindi lumabas ng iba. Na merong kasunduan ang inyong dalawang network. So gusto ko pong malaman kung ano po ang kasunduang ito.
The best person to answer that, Mr. Chair, is the President of SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we will take note of that statement and we will call for another hearing this week. Since magkano naman yung ano niya, I hope he is well by then.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So, everything that you don't answer, we will bring up in the next hearing. Let us be clear. Any more questions? So I suggest, kung alam niyo naman po, hindi naman para matapos na po yung issue.
Based on my information, Mr. Chair, the agreement with the Chinese company is not SMNI or the Suarasug, but it's SMNI Foundation. That's a different company, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, in so far as it's SMNI and alam niyo, pwede na lang po, Attorney Tolentino, pwede niyo na lang po pagsalitain yung bumubulong sa inyo. Pwede po namin i-recognize para mas madali.
I'm the one authorized to talk in behalf of SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, again...
So the agreement with Chinese company, based on my information, Mr. Chair, is not yet concluded, Mr. Chair. It's still in the process of negotiation.
So, is there any documents that would legitimize your statement?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will submit that next session, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, please submit it to us. So, what you're saying is, number one, it's not SMNI Suarasug.
Yes, but SMNI Foundation, Mr. Chair.
But in the news articles that I've read, there was a statement that there will be shared information and production and other shows. So, ano pong lalabas doon?
That's why, Mr. Chair, we will submit all available documents, Mr. Chair, if any, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Suarez is, thank you very much. I'd like to ask the Council, please acknowledge first our guest before we proceed to the next interpreter. There are members who arrived today. Please.
With the permission of the chairman, the following members are also present for today's meeting. Minority Floor Leader Marcelino Livanan, Representative Jose S. Aquino II, Representative Margarita Ignacia Negrales, Representative Ivan Howard Dinto, Representative Joseph Gilbert Dialago, Deputy Minority Leader Franz L. Castro. We also have Representative Jefferson Conghon. Your honors.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Committee of Franchise. The next interpreter is the Vice Chair of the Committee, the Honorable Johnny Pimentel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As stated by the Chairperson, Honorable Gaston Bunting, the Committee on Legislative Franchises will pursue its mandate to deliberate on matters referred to its jurisdiction relating to the granting, amendment, extension, or revocation of legislative franchises. In proceeding with this mandate, the committee will exercise its oversight function to determine whether or not the laws passed upon it are being implemented and carried out in accordance with the intent of Congress. This authority is expressly provided under Article 6, Section 21 of the Constitution, which provides that the Senate or the House of Representatives or any of its respective committees may conduct inquiries in aid of legislation in accordance with its duly published rules of procedure, and the rights of persons appearing in or affected by such inquiries shall be respected. The committee is presently conducting this hearing upon the initiative of the proponents to look into the franchise of Suarasug Media Corporation to determine whether the terms and conditions therein are complied with. We invited relevant government agencies, the grantee, and stakeholders to assist us in proceeding with the investigation, as we will give all parties the opportunity to present this committee their respective position on the matter in adherence to due process. The committee will not suppress any rights, nor will endeavor to intimidate our guests and resource persons that we invited purposely to assist us in pursuing our mandate. Kami po ay narito para bigyan linaw ang mga issue patungkol sa pagsunod sa mga batas na ating pinasa sa Kongreso para sa ating serbisyo bayan. Let me cite affirmation from the Supreme Court that a franchise right is a special privilege and certain conditions are imposed particularly to safeguard it against abuses. The committee is being criticized of zeroing in on the statements of anchor person Eric Celis regarding the travel expense of the Speaker, which we have established to be inaccurate. And Mr. Celis even admitted that he did not verify the information he received. Let me clarify that we are not focusing on this matter, and the committee is also considering other issues in reviewing the franchise of Suara Soup. The grantee asserted that it already obtained a vested right by virtue of the franchise grant and cannot be taken away without due process. But may I also remind you that the very franchise recognized the authority of Congress to amend, alter, or repeal the grant if the public interest so requires, and this hearing is being conducted to accord the grantee the opportunity to address the call for the revocation of the franchise. Mr. Chair, during the last hearing, we deliberated, we discussed on the possible violations of Suara Soup on their franchise, Republic Act 11422, especially on Sections 4, responsibility to the public, Section 10, sale, lease, transfer, grant of use of right for assignment of franchise, Section 11, dispersal of ownership, and Section 12, reportorial requirement. Now, on this hearing, rather in this hearing, let me expound, Mr. Chair, on Section 4. Because, as I see it, Mr. Chair, it seems that SMNI has a pattern of harassing individuals and entities using false informations. I sincerely believe that SMNI is being used as a tool to spread false information with regards to attacking, maligning, destroying the reputation of certain individuals and entities. Kaya nga, Mr. Chair, in this hearing, I would like to establish, or rather, hopefully establish itong pattern ng serial harasser. Mr. Chair, upon research for the past few days, we have found out that SMNI, or Suara Soup for that matter, is facing several cases. Not only in the courts, but in KBP, MTRCB, NTC, and other bodies. I have in my possession some of the cases, Mr. Chair. One, Concepcion, Empeño, Linda Catapan, and Cristina Palabay versus Suara Soup Media Corporation. Docket number case number 2022-027. It was filed at the National Telecommunication Commission on June 2022. The complaint arises from an SMNI broadcast featuring an interview with Valparan conducted by Lorraine Badoy. In this interview, allegations were made associating Vice President Robredo, suggesting an alliance with CPP, NPA, and DF. The broadcast specifically referred to the Bicol region as being infested with such affiliations. Number 2 case, Alfonso Tomas Atom Pagaduan Arroyo versus Jeffrey K. Eric Celes and Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa. Docket number R-QZN-23-08237-CV. It was filed at the RTC Quezon City Branch 306 on September 11, 2023. The episodes mentioned in SMI accused Arroyo of being a member of the CPP, NPA, NDF, producing documentaries and participating in activities detrimental to government efforts. Case number 3. This was filed in the National Regulation Commission on April 11, 2022. Bonifacio Carmona versus Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa, Eleanor Hara. The complaint specifies Badoy Partosa's actions utilizing a government position to spread faceless and harmful accusations against the complainants. Case number 4, Ombudsman cases versus Lorraine Badoy. Again, this is in connection with their practice of spreading false information. Now, Mr. Chair, may I ask Lorraine Badoy, inakusahan po ninyo si former Vice President Lenny Robredo kasi has an alliance with communists. Meron po kayong ebidensya na nagpapatunay na si Lenny Robredo ay may alyansa sa communists? Release the statement and
Mr. Chair, yung tungkol po sa former Vice President, yung statement ko na yon ay hindi po yon personal na opinion ko. I said all those things as the Strategic Communications Cluster Head of the National Task Force, LCAC at the time, and that was in fact the official stand of our government. Therefore, meron po siyang tinatayuan na ebidensya. Hindi ko po yun personal na opinion.
Pero kayo po ang nag-disseminate ng information na yun.
Opo.
It could be the stand of the government, but kayo po ang nag-air ng akusasyon na yun na si Robredo sa komunista. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because that was part of my
So in
job.
short po, ginamit po din yung plataforma for information. Hindi po ba?
Mr. Chair,
Because according to you, hindi galing sa inyo eh.
spokesperson ng National Task Force, LCAC, na bago naglalabas ng ganyang statement, meron pong vetting process.
Okay, ma'am, meron po ba kayong dokumento to support this position of the National Task Force?
I can, Mr. Chair, I can present, yeah.
Can you please submit that by tomorrow to the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And we would like to see the basis. This National Task Force, this was created by whom?
The National Task Force, LCAC, Mr. Chair, is the Executive Order number 70 that was created by then President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and it was continued by the sitting President, President Bongbong Marcos.
So it is still in existence, this National Task Force.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but I'm no longer part of it officially.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, as I stated earlier, I would like to establish that SMNI is being used as a source of information. Ngayon, dito po tayo. SMNI aired an interview in its news channel wherein Ms. Badoy claimed that Ana Patricia Noon, who put up the Maguinawa Communist Party, had also links to the communist movement. Totoo po ba ito, Mr. Badoy, Ma'am Badoy?
Mr. Chair, again, that was in official stand po ulit yun ng National Task Force, LCAC. Hindi ko po yun personal na opinion. And I can
Dito, kung totoo po ba talaga na yun ang stand ng government, because kayo po ang spokesperson at that time.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
SMNI also violated numerous provisions of 2007 Broadcaster Code of the Philippines, especially